Welcome, everybody. I'm Kurt Roskoff. I'm here with none other than Santa. This is the Santa's VIP panel discussion and networking with Santa. And we've been talking away here, and I was given a little guff for not having it all on live stream. So we're more than ready to come in and bring it to you. All the smiles and joy that Santa can provide. And when I met Santa Papa John, he pointed out to me that Santa is the most marketed and marketable character on the planet. Wow, have I been experiencing that? And in our discussions here, Santa asked the question of Mac, who is here. So I'm going to bring these guys in and we're going to get you caught up to our conversation. The check-in was where Mac is at. How are things over there? So let's start there, Mac. How are things by you?
Oh, things are amazing. Thank you. We're really into summer and the whole festival season because Toronto is one of those places that you can go and see different things. Whether you want to take in jazz or you want to do just walk along the beach or what have you. So it's a great place to be in the summertime.
There we go. And it's a great
Woo!
place to be here all year long with Santa Papa John. So, Santa, come on in here. I don't know if you want to repeat any of that stuff you thought was on live stream before, but this is your network. We love networking with you, and we're your VIP panel for your discussion. What do you have
Well, of
for us?
course. Thanks, Mr. Kurt. Hey, guys, I got brand new t shirts launching today. Pretty awesome, pretty excited to see where this goes. And the first one has got a picture of a big, beautiful bumblebee with the wonderful saying of be kind, be brave, be the reason someone smiles today. Pretty simple, pretty plain, but exciting to see where this is going to go. Available in 6 different colors, and of course, about 6 different sizes. Even a size for Mr. Kurt would even fit into the screen. That's awesome. So yeah, under a different name of SPJ Creations. So that's going to open up the door to, like I was saying, Mac, a little bit earlier on, it's going to open up the idea to allow me to promote some different things that maybe don't transcend across the Santa platform, but you never know. It's all under the Santa umbrella of Santa Papa John. So excited to see where this is going to go. And it's on the Shopify network. So excited to see where that's going to go. And, my first 5 t shirts on there are some wonderful little critters, like a little bunny and a little baby deer and a bumblebee. You're going to make me think here. So, yeah. So that's exciting for today, July the 7th of 2025. But Santa still got all his other shirts and his merch, his coloring book, his t-shirts, his cookbook. So yes, folks, Santa is broadening his horizons to put smiles on a lot more people. What do you think about that, Mac? I don't have the 2 million products like you do and all the other services that you offer. But I'm not going to step on your toes, but I'm going to just create a little bit of buzz around the Santa Papa John brand happening.
I want to know, will you be signing any shirts for anyone?
Will I be
Is that
signing
also
any
on, yeah,
shirts?
is that also an option? Once somebody orders it, will you be signing your name?
It could be a possibility on some of the shirts. The new ones will be direct shipped from the new manufacturer. But if you order the ones that I have on my website, there's a possibility I could sign them and, put them on the wall because the famous Santa Papa John could be signing a shirt that could be worth $20 someday. Oh, wait, $40 someday because they're worth 25 now, so.
I was hoping they were going to be worth hundreds once you sign it,
Well, you
or maybe
never
thousands
know.
or hundreds of thousands.
Hundreds of thousands, because I'm almost at 100,000 followers on TikTok. I hit 95,000 the other day. Look at this guy. He's got it going on. Wow. Yes, I'm working on my website and things are happening. Coloring books. Cotton Yak is wall art. And where's the t-shirts?
Now
Santa
you're
approved.
making it sound like through Etsy that there's more available. Is that how this works? You got a whole Etsy?
Yes. I'll send you the link.
Okay.
Uh,
You're gonna get linked with the link. So
yes.
Mac, Santa was talking about how you've got like quite a treasure trove of products. How do people find the products that you're supplying?
So that's one aspect of building a brand. Whether you're like a corporation, corporations usually reach out and they want a number and a number and a variety of things. So they can reach out and have a discussion with me, and we can definitely suggest what makes sense. It's really figuring out what they're after and what they're trying to target as a business. So there's many different products available to them.
Okay, so do you have anything specifically you like to reference in terms of people hearing this and then being able to reach out to you? Are they just like Googling your name or going on the platforms looking for your name or anything else specific you want to give them?
So in addition to branding, the branding part of things, that's important, but there's also other things that I do. So that's just one aspect of really being top of mind and staying in touch with your clientele.
Because you do a lot of stuff for like golf tournaments
Yes, golf to we're
and
in golf seat.
conferences and stuff like that, do you
Yes,
not?
conferences and people who are speaking on stages of the world, they often want to give some swag away, whether that's could be a mug, it could be some sort of keepsake that they will be remembered and never be forgotten, or they want to just put together a notebook because many people want to take notes. And so that's a great way to brand a speaker or somebody who's standing on stage because let's be honest, you may want to write a word or two down.
Absolutely. Because sometimes those speakers say things that are important.
Of course, of course. And you and we can't remember everything, right? I think we can only
No,
retain 10%. And at the
on
end
a
of the
good day, Mac, on a good day.
yes, 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 exactly. And when you're 1700 plus years old, it might be a little harder. I'm sure you would agree, right?
Well, my eyes only see you with one eye. Does that help? Yeah, I put the link in the chat there, Kurt.
Yeah, so here we go, folks. Here we have it shows as new arrivals. That's kind of cool, but shopping here with Santa, what an opportunity to shop with Santa. But look at that. All these sayings on here. Yeah, you're referring to that Santa. Look at that. Join the club. Oh, wow, you could join the club with Santa.
Yep.
So look at that. It's got a catalog here. So it looks like you've got these few items as a starting point, and then you're going to be building this out in the future to have more
Yep.
of these
Yep.
items.
Yep. Well, I've my other t-shirts I print myself. These ones are going to be print on demand. So when you order them, I send the order to a company. They print the design and the shirts, and they mail them directly to you. So that is opening the doors to um, many different sizes and many different, well, 6 different colors for each shirt so far.
Nice.
So
no, I was just going to ask Santa about this. Is this a company that handles on shopping online and then they put it to and then they just print it kind of thing? You're saying it's on demand. So tell people who are watching and listening and who
okay,
are
so
how the whole
you
process
want to
works.
order this first blue T-shirt? I've got you. What? No matter what kind of friend you order
Yes.
it, I place the order, or it's actually automated that when you order from me, it goes right to that company. They print the shirt with the size that you've picked, and they print it. The next day, it's mailed out to you. So
And that's
it'll,
what this company specializes in, only
yes,
working with companies like yours
yeah,
to fulfill orders that are done
correct.
online.
So I could have 50,000 shirts ordered tomorrow, and they would print out 50,000 shirts tomorrow. And although they haven't told me how big the limit is to having the next day shipping out, but I'm sure it's, you know, quite a few being printed out the same day. So, but the biggest thing is it gives me the opportunity to offer different sizes and different colors. The shirts that I'm doing in house, I've only got grays and blacks with four different sizes. So, print on demand offers you multiple colors and multiple sizes in the same day service. Like
That's pretty, yeah.
that shirt that I picked, I've got 6 different colors. The shirt actually is available in 50 different colors.
Wow, that's a lot.
That's a lot.
Yeah. There's very few companies
Now,
that can fulfill stuff like that. So,
can you imagine ordering even 50 shirts at 20 different colors? That's 1,000. And then you need 5 different sizes. So that's 5,000 shirts, and you can print one. Whereas you do the print on demand, it's they can print 20,000 shirts or whatever the number is per day
right, in 50 different colors.
in 50 different colors.
Right. That's a lot.
So that's the advantage of a print on demand service. Plus, it allows the bigger inventory, the bigger product offering. Um, I'm sure you understand what print on demand, because you don't order, you know, some of the swag you don't order that are, not printed and not made by different companies. Especially, well, you might, because you're not offering 10 different sizes of the same product.
Right. We'll have to
Yeah.
talk more of this about this offline. I'm just curious
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
obviously
There's,
this is an area that is near and dear to me, but I don't want to bore people with all the whole things that they might not be interested in, right? They want to.
well, it's something that I was not going to do, because they do take a pretty good chunk of change as part of the price point. But the trade off is the variety that it allows you to offer your clientele.
Right. So what gave
So,
you the idea? What gave you the inspiration to do these bee patterns and all these different colors?
well, I work with this company to order my bulk shirts, and this is just something that they've offered all the way along. But at first, I didn't want to do it, but I thought I'm going to try something different, just to maybe get the ball rolling a little bit quicker, a little bit more deeper, a little bit more bigger of a reach, and we'll give it a shot and see where it goes. Now, I was going to do an Etsy store, but this company works with Shopify, so I set up the Shopify, which is going to cost me $1 a month for the first 3 months, and then it's well, they have different packages depending on different things, but I think it's $29.95 per month. And I'm not sure if there's limitations on the amount of products you can put. I'm sure there is for that price on your store.
I'm
And then, of
guessing
course,
this is a. Oh, go on.
then they promote, because Shopify is almost as big, I believe, as Etsy. So then you have that built-in clientele already that people are looking for certain types of shirts and stuff like that. Yes, you still got to market yourself, but you also have the clientele that is searching their site.
And maybe some viewers are really connecting with what you're saying and they want to do something similar. So this is a good education for them. Maybe there's even some
Absolutely.
young viewers, people tuning in
Oh,
and they
well,
want to become an entrepreneur and look at Santa. If he can do it, we can do it, or I can do it.
absolutely. And more importantly, if these 16-year-old kids can make 100 grand a month doing this, Santa can try and do this too. Because you see these reports that these 16, 17, 18, 19-year-old kids are doing stuff online and they're doing different businesses that they're making 100 grand a month. What's stopping you other than procrastination and not willing to learn something new?
Exactly. And I asked Kurt this question, can we have them on the show? Those people who are making 100 grand. I think
Oh,
that would be very
I wish I
inspiring.
knew some of them personally because I'd love to get them on here because I'd love to pick their brains. But I see all their videos going, hey, sign up for this course and I'll sign up for that course. But some of them offers free stuff and some of them put courses on there. But yeah, it's really getting interesting how AI is developing new businesses. And of course, 12, 13, 14, 15-year-olds know more about AI, Mac, than you and I will in our lifetime. And they're 12 years old and 13 years old. Forget about Kurt. He's not even on the right page yet. I mean, but that's society. I mean, I remember going to, even a few years ago, the grandkids are in kindergarten. There's no pen and paper, it's all tablets and computers. They are taught right from the kindergarten how to use tablets and computers. So by the time they're 12, 13, 14, they know more than I've learned. And I've been on computers for 30 years,
Right.
you know? But the reality of that statement is you are the only one holding yourself back from learning about what is available on these computers and what's available on these AI products and the way these guys are doing. You know, it's funny, you see, and I know you use Chat GTP and Kurt uses Chat GTP, but us as 40-year-old plus, I'm assuming you're 43, 44, Mac. Am I close? Or are you younger than that?
It's funny. People confuse me for somebody younger. So it's fine either way. Somebody
You
thought I
old,
was
Mac?
26. Someone thought I was 26. So,
How old are you?
oh, we're going there. 42.
Okay, so I was pretty close. I was right
Yeah.
on. But they're saying,
But I look young, so I have your genes.
well, if I shave this off, and I'm sure you're the same way, I look about 20 years younger. And I've always had the baby face, so this was, growing 20 years ago to tick off the ex-wife and now the new wife loves it and she's transformed me into Santa and it's really changed my life and I've told you that story many times and I'm a very lucky man and very blessed that I'm able to share happiness with the world and create some wonderful memories for the world. But they're saying, Mac, the our generation, I know I'm a little bit older than you, I'm the next generation, but 40 years old plus, we've got to do so much catch up in the world of computers compared to the 15 to 30-year-olds because they've grown up using computers every day, all day long, and they know more about it than probably we will ever learn. But we're the only ones that are stopping us. And it's funny, I get these posts all the time going, hey, for you 40-year-olds plus, we're starting this brand new AI course. It's free or it's whatever the price is for the next month that will teach you all these different AI platforms so that you can start utilizing more than just the basic, so it's rather interesting. How much are you using AI now for your business, Mac?
I'm playing around with it. I'm playing around and I'm seeing it as a tool. We can't let it run our lives. We can only
No.
use it as a tool and we'll see where it goes. Because if we talk about this conversation, it's only 3 years young. And so we'll see where it's going to go and how it's going to affect the whole world moving forward. But
It's funny. I was talking to
it's good to have.
Yeah, I was talking to a marketing. I had a one-on-one with a gentleman from California a couple hours ago, and he sold his business for 8 figures, and now he's into consulting and marketing and stuff like that. And he says, the reality of AI is you're either going to start using it or you're going to be left behind. And I said the interesting thing is I did a quote quote one sheet about who I am and how I suggest who I am to other people. I did one over the weekend, but I also did one 6 months ago, and how much it's changed in 6 months. And it was really interesting in the fact because as my business grows, it's utilizing that growth pattern to change some of my descriptions on who I am and what I do and how I can help customers. One of the things I'm doing right now is every video, here's my video, create a description with hashtags. So, yes, I'm being lazy, but it's also opening the doors to think about the video from a neutral standpoint on what people are seeing this video that I've created. So I think that's pretty exciting. And am I using chat to its full extent? Maybe 6% if I'm lucky. That's what I've been told. But
No, it's yeah.
the more you use it, the more comfortable you get using it. And of course, I use chat to help me write some of my stories. That way, I'm not infringing on copyrights. I'm not, stepping on stories that are written already that are copyrighted, and then I'd have to pay royalties to those people. If I'm doing AI, then I'm creating an original story.
I'm just curious, since we're talking about stories, do people really know your story at the end of the day? Have you shared it with your audience? And I don't know if you want to share it here, but do they know a little backstory?
I've shared it. I share it with almost everybody I talk to. I've been divorced and remarried, and I was a truck driver. I've got 3 million miles. That's 5 million K for you, Mac, and under my belt. And people don't even realize how far that is. I've been around the equator equivalent of, I think it was 125 times. No, you're making me think now because the equator is 25,000.
25,000 miles?
Yeah.
Wow, I had no idea. See, I'm learning so much just being on this call.
Divided by 25,000. 120 times.
120 times?
120 times I've been around the equator around this earth.
I was going to say to Kurt, we could have had a commercial break there while he tabulated the totals. A word from our sponsor.
A word from our sponsor, yes. Exactly. But it's I've seen 7 provinces. I've been from Montreal to Victoria in Canada, and I think I've been in 40 states in the States. So
out of the 50.
Out of the 50, yep.
Wow.
So I've seen a lot of North America, and this has been around for about 14 years. So when I met my new wife, she said, "Hi, Santa." And I went, "You're nuts. I hate Christmas." She says, "Yeah, because my ex, the simple story is my ex liked Christmas too much and she liked to spend money. And I had a 6.5 foot Christmas tree and I could see the top 6 inches. So when I met my new wife, she looked at me and the short story is she hands me a handful of candy cane one day, Mac and Kurt, and says, "Next time you're walking through a store and you hear some kids squawking, go talk to them." Well, the typical male response with a handful of candy is, "Here, little girl, do you want some candy?" I said, "I'm going to go to frickin' jail." And of course, she kicks me in the shin and we giggle and we share a lot of giggling in our relationship. I have a wonderful relationship. We have a wonderful relationship together that we share a lot of giggles and laughter together. And so I said, "Okay." So I'm walking through one of the big box stores one time, and I got a big black winter coat on, black pants, black tennis shoes on. There's no red and white on me. The only thing that was white is this right here. And I hear some kid squawking a couple aisles over, and I go, "Well, I guess if this is the time I'm going to experiment, now is the time." So I walked around the corner, and there's three little kids in a cart, and I'm wah, 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 like this to mom. And I went, "Hey, are you supposed to be squawking back to mom like that?" And I stood there and I shut up. They looked at me, they looked at mom, their eyeballs went about this big, and they went, "Santa, what are you doing here?" And I said, "I'm here listening to some kids wanting me put on the naughty list." You thought the world ended. I mean, their eyeballs and their mouth went about this big, and they looked at mom. And I said, "Are you supposed to be squawking back to mom like that, really? We're sorry, I said, "Don't apologize to me. Apologize to mom." "We're sorry, mom. We're sorry. We're sorry. We'll behave. We promise we'll be good." And I said, "Well, you never know when I'm going to pop around the corner again. So you got to be good from now on. You got to promise me. We will. We will." So, of course, then I asked mom because you have to ask if they can have a candy cane. And of course, she said yes. And I said, "Okay, I'm going to give you a candy cane if you promise to behave and start acting like good little boys and girls." "We will, we will, we promise, we promise." So I handed him some candy cane and talked to him for a few minutes more. And I said, "Okay, Santa's got to leave. He's got to go talk to some more little boys and girls." And I proceeded to walk around the corner while mom come running after me. And she said, "Thank you, thank you, thank you, Santa. I think you just made shopping enjoyable for the rest of the year." And to tell you the truth, I have not looked back since. And I'm so blessed that I'm able to share happiness and create wonderful memories for families and, for children. Kurt's crying already. And that's the true story, guys. And,
That's good.
it's then I've just broadened out on the way I think and the way I look at things and the way I talk, the way I act. And of course, then she makes these amazing shirts for me. And you've seen all the different shirts. I got about 25 of them. And that means there's no disguising really who I am. And when I walk through the store, even yesterday, it's not only the children, but it's the adults going, "Is he? Is he? Is he? Yes, he is. But, the world needs more happiness. The world needs more smiles, and the world needs some hope. So if I'm that person to give somebody some happiness and make somebody smile, why not? Somebody's got to do it. Somebody's got to step up. I'm not saying I'm changing the world. I'm saying I'm putting a smile on people's face and I'm creating a wonderful memory that they can share for that moment in their life.
I think it's taking these small moments and just discussing it because it can be passed down. Other people can do similar things.
Yeah,
whether it's saying hello
absolutely.
to somebody on the street or you're smiling at them or whatever it is. You don't know
Yeah,
how you can impact their day. Like your
yeah,
story with the kids and the mother, and she was
yeah,
so appreciative.
absolutely.
So I'm glad you shared that. So thank you for sharing that.
Well, absolutely. I share that, and I thought I'd told you that story
No, I
before.
never
And
heard it. Kurt, did you
oh,
ever hear it before?
Yeah, most of it I heard. I think I heard some stuff that may have been little tidbits that I learned just now, but yeah, for the most part, I've heard the story. Yeah.
and even going from the last 6 months on the cookbooks and the coloring books and the stories, you know, I can't take the credit for all those because it's the power of networking. And I network with people all around the world. In November, my record was in 7 days, I talked to people in 23 different countries. Australia and the UK are my two hot spots right now. It, business, as you both know, is a numbers game. So, Australia, UK, Canada, and the US, that's 800 million people. You know, for my business to work, I need 0.01% of that 800 million. So I know there's people out there that don't like Christmas. They don't like Santa for whatever reason. That's okay because for every one of them, there's 10 others that do. So when I get an opportunity to talk to someone and find out yay or nay, it doesn't hurt my feelings because I move on to the next person because I know there's the next person that's going to love what I do. And once they find out what I actually do and how I can create those wonderful memories for their business or their families, that's pretty exciting and can be a lot of fun. And it really has opened up a lot of eyes. And that's why I network so much because it's just a matter of talking to people and saying what I really do and how I can help their business with a simple problem of we all know, and I'm sure you've heard it in your business, Kurt, where the CEO is crapping his pants because he's got to go speak in front of all his employees because we know public speaking is the number one fear in North America. It's not dying in a plane crash, it's not dying in a car crash, it's public speaking. Now, what I've suggested to a few people, wouldn't it be cool to you're giving an awards away for your some of your better employees? Wouldn't it be cool to have Santa come up there and give those awards away? What kind of memory is that going to create for a bah humbug normal, presentation of awards kind of night that is kind of boring and well, I guess we gotta go because the boss wants us there. But all of a sudden you throw some different ideas and it can create some interesting conversation and some wonderful memories for that employee for the company. So I've thrown that to some people and they love it. I mean, one of my ideas is, well, again, not my idea. Someone sends me a text message, SOS Santa, call me. I got a problem. Okay, what's up? So I phoned Monica from, Texas and I said, what's up? She said, I had an exceptional customer experience with a bank this morning. I said, no, you didn't. That doesn't exist in North America. Because we've all dealt with banks. We know what we're talking about. So this lady says, no, I had a problem with a bank for over 6 weeks. And imagine that. I talked to a different lady that asked different questions this morning because she'd been on the phone like every 2 days trying to get this problem solved. And an hour later, this lady calls back and said, "Problem solved, no problem, got her done." So Monica wanted to call me and say, "Hey, can you make a thank you video to this lady that worked at the bank for going over and above her normal call of duties to solve this problem?" I said, man, what an awesome idea because we as humans forget to say please and thank you majority of the time. You know, and of course, the younger generation doesn't know what those two words mean. So I got some details from this lady and quickly made up a little 1 minute video to say thank you for going above their way and blah, 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 and sent it off to Monica. Well, she absolutely loved it, sent it to the bank. Well, she got a message back from the branch manager saying, thank you. That was absolutely awesome for doing this for our employees. So it made its way all the way up to the bank manager. And, you know, as I've talked to different people, I had a gentleman from Denver who ran a landscaping business. He says, I'm going to order 100 of these videos just to say thank you to my clientele. He says, what a great way to end a season, because my season ends in, you know, October. Santa's coming up anyway. He says, what a great way to thank my clientele for allowing me to do their yard work. So, you know, I can do little things for businesses as well as for people and their families. Just like you do, Mac. You create special gifts for conventions. People remember those little gifts because I'm assuming you talk to whoever's coordinating it and saying, let's think of some ideas on what we can give and let's create a special gift for those attending the conference. Is that not how you do it?
Exactly. You have to really get to know who you're giving the gifts to, right? Whether like we were talking about earlier, if people didn't hear us about golf tournaments or whatever it is that people need this sort of swagger merch for, they're able to customize it for whatever it is that they need.
Right, right.
And that's
Because
usually where event planners come in, because they usually are involved in overseeing the whole event and purchasing different items and food and gifts. And so that's an important part.
That little special gift to
Of course.
take their final idea of thanking them for coming to the conference over the top. And it doesn't have to be a, you know, a 20, 30, 40, $50 gift, although I'm sure you do have some clientele that spend that kind of money. But, you know, it doesn't have to involve that kind of money. It can be something that's small and useful, that's intricate to that company. And you're putting the extra service to supply your customers with that special touch for their employees. I'm doing the same thing with Santa. And as you talk to different people, you find different needs and you find different ideas. Some work for some businesses and some it doesn't, you know? So you really have to know your clientele.
Yeah, that's through and just really trial and error a lot of times. You just have to have conversations and see whether it makes sense for you or not.
Right.
And whether you can deliver on what it is they need or require.
Yeah. I remember, this is going back probably 83, 84. I was DJing a wedding at a great big hotel in Winnipeg. And the banquet room, when it was fully open, could hold 2,000 people. But there was like 3 weddings, and there was a great big Italian wedding for 400 people in the room beside mine that was 150. Well, you know, it was one of those nights where I stole half their people because their DJ sucked. But you know, going back, they gave away a crystal ice cube container to every one of their gifts. They were worth $100 a piece back in 83 or 82, whatever it was, to 400 guests.
Wow.
But I remember someone saying in their envelopes, they got like almost $140,000 as wedding present gifts. So they had enough to go buy their house cash after their wedding. Because mom and dad, of course, they paid for all the wedding. wouldn't see that happening now, but yeah, holy moly.
So what I've learned from this is it pays to have 400 guests because they can send you cash in
And to be
envelopes, hopefully,
Italian
right?
and know that you're getting $1,000 or $500 from each person in an envelope, man.
Let's hope that some of that money was legal too, right? So
Yes, yes, absolutely, it was all legal.
that's
Oh,
good.
back in the good old days, let me tell you. Yep, fun, fun, fun.
Wow, you have
Anyway,
so many stories.
oh, some I can't say on a platform like this. Yeah, the DJing world back then was rather interesting. Yes, it was
So that's
rather
how you
interesting.
really got your start, though, to like being in front of people in an audience,
Well, and I was just about to
become
say that
comfortable.
exact same thing. Being comfortable speaking in front of people is a learned art. Some people get it, some people don't. Some people understand it, some people crap their pants, and the more you do it, the more you can relate to customers and clientele, and just be comfortable knowing that there's 4, 5, 6, 0, 0, whatever the number is, people out there that are looking at you and wanting to talk to you, and you got to talk to them. You know, it's like Kurt running the microphone at the water ski show, and that whole crowd is on the shoreline going, "We want Kurt, we want Kurt," and he goes, "No." Been there, done that, Kurt. Right?
You've actually gone, Santa, to see it, or you're
No,
just
I have not.
painting this picture for the viewers and the audience here?
Picture painting the viewer. I don't even know if Kurt MCs or if he runs the boat. I don't know what you actually do, Kurt.
Well, I do a little bit of everything. I'm a water skier. I help with the boat team, the dock team, the rope team, the sound team. I do announcing. Yeah, I'm the all around, whatever the team needs, I'm there.
That's good. That's good. Except when you wrap the rope around the wrong neck, it doesn't count, right?
Yeah, I hear about that
Where
stuff.
you weren't part of that record breaking ski show that you showed me last year that they had so many people behind a boat. You weren't part of that, right? That was another club.
Yeah, well, it was an adventure across multiple teams. They have about 8 different teams involved with that world record breaking stuff. It's the National Show Ski Association
Okay.
that
Okay.
does that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
This
And
would
you had
be
a
it.
go ahead.
Oh, go. I was just saying for our viewers, this would be interesting. Santa with a Speedo water skiing. Could you
That
see
ain't
that, Kurt?
happening.
Would that make would
That
that be
is
fun?
not happening. The big red and white strap over the shoulder, and yeah, that would be Santa's swim gear right now. You know,
There you go. That'd be a good Christmas in July promotion. Let's do that, Santa.
absolutely. We could.
You're
So
not
your
that far
show
away
your
from
show
Kurt's
went
either.
well this weekend, Kurt. You had a big crowd.
Oh, it was phenomenal. It was we our site kind of goes up to a railroad tracks and then it goes all the way down to a condominium development, and so there's this whole lake shore, that includes a beach, and it's got a DNR fishing pier and a whole lakefront park, and so when we're talking the 4th of July, people are really coming out because they're drawn for the fireworks, and we're kind of you know the distraction while they're waiting for the fireworks. So but yeah, that gives us a tremendous
So
audience.
your
We had a
show was
wonderful. What's that?
like 6 o'clock till 8 o'clock in the evening.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that's it. So yeah, a couple hours. So we do a pre-show, and I announce the pre-show, and then I hand it off to our announcer Dan, and then that's where I shift more to the boat crew and the dock and so forth, to be a part of that side of things. And and then I promote the after party. Like, don't just enjoy that we did our final dance and said some sort of goodbye, keep enjoying the outdoors. It's so nice outside and everything. So I'm kind of like, why just go home, do that? And then I say there's even another part is that when you are on the way, have the mindset that you're our messenger. You have to
Yeah.
tell your other family and friends and neighbors and colleagues and your enemies and everybody you touch in life, let them know to come on in and enjoy the ski show. So,
What did you do for the first, Mac?
Nothing really. I saw some fireworks from my window and it was very nice. So no
There you
complaints.
go.
I
'Cause
love
whereabouts in
taking
Toronto do you
advantage of
live?
that. I am, do you know Toronto, or
Yep.
you drove up here once or twice in your
Yep.
truck, in your red
My
truck, I
brother
guess,
lives
at the
my
time?
brother lives in Whitby.
So I'll give you a major intersection. Is that good? Or like
Well, give me
just
a town,
a town is the
one of the
Vaughan area.
suburbs.
Vaughan.
Huh?
Vaughan.
You're in
You've never
Vaughan.
heard of it.
So just on the north side of Vaughan is where Wonderland is.
Yes. So I'm not too
Yeah.
far from Wonderland.
Yeah. There
So
you
I
go.
probably saw some of the Wonderland fireworks and then other people's fireworks, and it was a nice show. People go all out for these things. July 4th, July 1st. They spend, I remember a few years ago how much money I spent on a fireworks display. And the best part of it was
Wonderland
lighting
is
it.
like a big theme park. What's the big theme park they have down here?
Six Flags?
Six Flags.
Yeah,
That's
it's like Six
comparable
Flags.
to Wonderland in Toronto. So, yeah, I've driven on the 401 and an 18-wheeler, and then I've gone north up to Barrie and all the way over Lake Superior to Winnipeg. Yep. Been all the way around Lake Superior. That was
Wow.
interesting. Yeah.
How long does it take to go around the lake? How many hours?
Go around the lake.
Superior, how long did it take you? Or you did it over a few days?
I did it over a few days because
Oh.
it was 30 degrees or 90 degrees, Kurt, and the air conditioner went on in the car. So we were driving an hour beach. Okay, we'd stop. Drive another hour beach, we'd stop. Yeah. So we made it to Sault Ste. Marie and stopped in Sault Ste. Marie, and then we went from Sault Ste. Marie to Duluth, and from Duluth we went to World. But then the other way we went from Kenora we went across not 11 but 16. So we stopped in not Hearst, but the one before Hearst. But yeah, and then we went around to I had to deliver a truck in just north of North Bay. And then we went from North Bay to around to Sault Ste. Marie, and we there was a couple places that we stopped along the southern or the northern shore there of the lake before we crossed over at Sault Ste. Marie.
That's
the day we went to Sault Ste. Marie, at that time, the largest ship to ever go through the locks was going through. Now, the locks were 1,010 feet long by 80 feet wide, and this ship was 1,000 feet by 70 feet. So it had 5 feet on each side and 2.5 feet from the front to the back.
Wow.
That's how tight this thing fit into the lock.
Wow.
Incredible.
You took a picture?
Probably. But that was 40 years ago? No. That would have been 90. Yeah, 90. So 35 years ago. When I was pipelining in northwestern Ontario.
There's not Some people don't realize this, but there's two Sault Ste. Marie's. It's in the
Yes,
US, and then
right.
there's one in Canada. So for those
Yeah,
people that are watching this or watching it later on,
yeah, absolutely.
it's interesting.
Yes. So, what's your website, Mac? That if they want some of your swag, where do they find you?
So this is our website. I work with people with the branded side of things, and it's called Head to Toe. But it's best that they reach out to me. So
Okay. And they can
thank you
find you
for.
on all kinds of social media. Are you on all the
I'm on
social media?
LinkedIn, mostly on LinkedIn. I love
And
LinkedIn
Facebook?
because and Facebook I'm on.
Yeah,
Yes, those are the two major platforms that I hang out.
there you
I
go.
haven't got into TikTok like you, Santa, yet, but maybe you can teach me a thing or two.
I hit 95.5 Saturday night. So I'm 4,500 away from 100,000.
Wow, good for you.
Yeah. So I'm
Congratulations.
hopefully by the end of maybe July, first part in August, I will be able to hit because I'm hitting roughly about 1,200 a week right now. So maybe another 4 weeks, I'll hit that 100,000 mark, and then I get a nice little plaque from TikTok that says I have a 100,000 followers. So kind
Wow,
of kind of excited about that. Don't know
that's
what it's
incredible.
gonna do or what it's gonna do for me, but it's cool to say that I have that many followers.
It gives you street cred.
Yes, absolutely. Right. And when I tell people that I have over 100,000 followers on social media, people pay attention. And it's kind of interesting how their expressions and their facial expressions change when I say that, going, wow, this guy is actually serious. He does this. And yeah, so
People don't really realize, but Santa is a grinder, obviously. Oh, they must know because holiday season, how busy he really is. That he stays up
someone
24/7
said
and
to
he has
me the
good
other
people
day,
behind
Mac,
him.
someone said to, and the three of us fall into this same category. And you said it there. We get up, we show up, we participate, and we don't give up every day. And that goes for all three of us. You know, we put in the effort, we put in the time, and we put in the workload to create that following, to create that um, not image, but to create that we're out here on a serious job to create the following and create the products that we do. Kurt, last words?
Mm. Merry Christmas in July. How about that one? So yeah.
Mac, you got some last words?
No, it was good to be here. I'm truly grateful for having this conversation, and it just flew by this time. And
It sure
I'd be
did.
happy to come on again and chat with you. And I learned so much being a part of this group, a part of this community, and just to hear the amazing things that both of you are doing. And thank you so much for having me.
Well, thank you for showing up and listening to us. And, I just, I'm blessed because I've created some amazing friendships, not just connections, just not people that I know, just not, passing in the dark. I've created some amazing friendships on this wonderful network that we call the internet and different platforms. And I'm very blessed that, people believe in what I'm doing and they show their support. And, that's all we can do is keep moving forward, creating people's smiles, creating wonderful memories, and having wonderful conversations like this.
Amazing. Thank you. Thank you, Kurt.
Absolutely.
You bet. We do this the first and third Monday of every month. So we'll see you again on here live stream in 2 weeks.